Hi, everybody, and welcome to episode 9 plus of the Robot Wizard podcast. I'm Brink, and I've got Myth and Deer on the line.
Good evening.
And we've both got some booze.
Yes, it's going to be a nighttime drinking episode. We're usually doing this during the day, but nighttime is fun. Maybe a shot or two, and some new capital ships and some new counters. And we think we're going to be debuting a team that no one's thought of yet, which maybe they have, but we're going to do it better.
Yep.
So
So I was super busy at work today, and again, just like my phone, I don't get YouTube alerts for every channel that I follow, which are very few, but I get our channel's notifications, and I saw all those all your test videos popping in. Can you please explain to me what happened, what brought this about, and what you were doing?
So JSHO and I plan our TW mostly lately, and we just go back and forth with this a lot, and we've been trying to think of teams that work with our new efficiency model. We without trying to explain this too much, RR for the most part has worked on trying to stop people from clearing the board in territory wars. And as the GP has risen, and anyone who has the same amount of metas as us, they play an efficiency game that they're better at it than us. They try to clear one shots, and we never really practiced it much. So we're starting to change our TW model to find teams, kind of throwaway teams or teams that aren't used as much, but that can get 2 or 3 shots on
That makes
territory
sense.
wars.
Yeah, a lot of our walls are, like those standard like first order bounty hunters, like all those things that everybody has played over and over again, and they're drilled and they know how to beat it.
Exactly. And we don't like to do that. We've always tried to come up with creative and tough defenses, and we put a lot of meta on defense. We put Treyas and DR. I mean, but if we're going to try to play this game, we don't want to just resort to doing what everybody does, which is kind of just put a horrible defense in and try to be better than the next guy. We're going to try to be more efficient, but we also want to try to think of things that no one's thought of. And with the new Nute lead, which I think is very interesting, everybody seems to like it a lot. We started thinking about new teams. The Dooku rework is really good and gives him an ability a lot like R2 to cloak the team. And
Yeah,
in the
I really
past,
like that thing that Dooku has.
it's amazing. He wasn't a bad character before.
Nobody
And
used
when he
him though.
get
He's just old.
he was old, but this rework really fits nicely with kind of what the separatists do, and especially he's going to get that protection tuning too, which is going to make him really, really, really strong. But in the past, and this isn't exactly a new idea, but kind of cloaking for stealthing 4 people and putting Nest as the 5th. It's kind of back into the Zol days of doing that kind of thing. Well, you can't really kill Nest, and then you get 4 people who are protected and can kind of go buck wild. So we thought, as we've come along with do Nute lead, which is really, really good. Dooku, Grievous, and Nest, and then a 5th. And the first one we started with was with Droideka, and it's just a Gear 8 Droideka. And we were chatting back and forth, and all of a sudden he just threw it on defense and told me to try it because we're in the same chart. And I was super psyched. It was the middle of the day. I didn't get much work done, but we did do a lot of test battles, and the results were pretty crazy. I don't know if anybody's done this, but this is going to be a serious team, and I think the results show it for itself. So we started off with
Yeah,
the
which
first
one do you
battle I
want to show
did.
first?
So the first battle I did, let's just go in order, was the Jedi Chaining Ray. That's actually mislabeled at the bottom because I have dyslexia and do weird things with letters sometimes. My resistance is I don't have roll with the punches data, so I use this team just to kind of always on offense, just to kind of clean up bounty hunters or first order. but I thought it was a good place to start. It wasn't overpowered, and I wanted to see what would happen.
No, I agree. I use JTR as the team when I don't know what else to do on offense. And it's been getting a little shaky lately against the newer stuff that's come out, but it's still really good if you have it modded well. So I agree. Like I like that you use this to test.
And we did a lot of testing, and it's a progression. We know Darth Revan's going to win, and we know Jedi Knight Revan's going to win. We didn't test CLS, I'm pretty sure it will, but again, it's in territory wars. If you're trying to one or two shot, if somebody has to use Trey against this Nute team, that's a huge victory because later on we're going to have a giant Night Sister wall with Spirit, and they're going to have less.
Oh man, the triumvirate is kind of like the ultimate get out of jail free card offense team. Like, oh, there's any team that has like a Gear 12 Nest or some revive going on. You just bring in the triumvirate and annihilate everybody.
So the more really great defensive teams that kind of take them out of play.
This would be another one that you would have to consider using the triumvirate for.
Eventually, you're just not going to. I mean, I don't know how many we're going to be able to put out on defense. We're going to try this in TW, but eventually, if you really focus on it, there's going to be too many of these teams for trying to take out all of them.
Okay. Yeah, you're right. Let me play. Let me hit
It's
play
just
here.
cool. I mean, this is fun stuff. This is stuff that really gets us going. So I love trying this stuff.
So I'm assuming is this you playing against JSHO?
This is me playing against JSHO. Right now he has a fast
I'm
Dooku
assuming fast Dooku, and Dooku's naturally super fast.
And he really hadn't remodded Nest yet, so I don't know what Nest was at. But as we go on, he kind of changes that. But Dooku hides everyone. Droidica
There's a revive on Nute.
Yeah, I love that about him. It's like a mini Jedi Knight Revan Savior thing going on,
And then he's stealth.
I'm not sure has been talked about enough. But watch what happens. You can't go after Droidica, and you just keep being forced to hammer Nest over and over again. I was trying to get them down. And so Nute dies here. He's gear 11. Droidica's gear 8. If General Grievous goes below 100%, then Droidica gets marked and becomes a taunter.
Dooku, Dooku and Nest are... So Dooku, like, hitting under protection with his counterattack, he's a little bit like Nest because he keeps on going into stealth. Like,
yeah, they're both countering. They're nailing him. Imagine Dooku had his Zeta. Nute's Zeta would really cause a lot of problems. But you could look at the damage numbers. I mean, my team isn't great, but I don't really think I had much of a shot here. And I managed to kill Nute, and that was sort of by the grace of God. Dooku gets turn meter on his counters. He's got over 300 speed. He's going through so fast that he's going to be constantly cloaking everyone so that they just can't be touched, and you're forced to sit there with Nest.
Oh my gosh! So now, okay. So yeah, the JTR is a great offensive team, and you took out Nute pretty well, but then you left a bunch of really good characters with loaded turn meter and tons of health and protection.
It was hard to get through, and I could feel it as it was going on. And this was my first battle, and as I was starting to move through it, so the progression. Next, I tried troopers, and the trooper video I didn't publish because it was like my wife called me, and there was a bunch of alerts. I hadn't put it on No Disturb, and the troopers got slaughtered. Maybe that's something we could try live. After that, we did EP, and the reason was. IPD. The IPD is going to be able to take stealth off of here. And I won the first battle, but barely. And then JSHO put fast Nest out there, and this is what happened.
Okay, so early stealth to Nest, which is ideal.
Now, they get days, which is like kryptonite to the EP team.
Oh, that's right. Nest is super anti-EP.
I mean, there's not much for me to say. You're going to see, even though they kind of, it's weird. I spent a lot of time playing it. There's a weird dynamic going on. You don't exactly know who to attack. If you attack Grievous, once he goes below 100% health, Droideka is going to get marked and taunt and can't be damaged. So it's like you don't want to touch him. Nute revives, so it almost feels like a waste to attack him. And Nest obviously you don't want to attack, and Dooku counters every time, and starts taking a lot out of you. He starts stunning everybody. So when you're playing it, it feels like a conundrum. It's a very kind of weird feeling. There's no person that you want to directly attack as it goes along.
Yeah, I mean, you don't want to hit Newt, but he's the only guy that you're going to be able to really take down. I mean, you'll be wanting to go after Grievous, but if you hit him, he's going to doesn't he put Mark on Droideka?
That's what I was saying. Yeah, you could go after Dooku, but you really need to stun him. It's like the old dancing Dooku days under Nihilus.
Man, and then you've got the counterattack going, and you could put tenacity on Dooku if you have some fast tenacity. That's okay.
So this is where we need your help developing. This was all just off the top of my head, but also his Zeta is going to really help him stay alive. So now I'm starting to see the real benefit of that Zeta, because it could be a real nightmare here. You really won't be able to attack him if he has that Zeta.
What's the Zeta do?
He gains protection with every counter, and then he gets critical hit immunity with every counter.
Oh man,
which would be really difficult. So all these teams with
Separatists are the Newt lead is sneaky good, I think.
What I love about this is it doesn't really take any of the new characters, which you might not have finished. Droideka is out there, but you're going to see later on that there's a lot of tunes you could use for the 5th spot. We just put them out there because it made sense, but I actually think there's a better option that most people are probably going to have. But I mean, this is EP. They sort of, with IPD, they sort of thrive on anti-buff, like stealth cloak teams with the stun and everything. They destroy everything, but I got my ass kicked. It's late night. We can curse now. I didn't have a chance here. I might have added a taunter here. There's probably a better Empire team, but I was trying to take and use teams like I would use them in GA, like how I separate everything. This is a team I normally use, and it kind of usually works really well. But the days from Ness especially really shut it down. If you look to the Bounty Hunter team, this is what I think the best video. And I'm just going to sit back and let you comment on this, because he recorded this against my team now, and I was literally blown away. So I put one of my teams in, and I started trying some things, and I couldn't.
So you put in pretty close to the same thing.
I put Poggle in, offense up and speed up for General Grievous, which I thought would help the output.
Those buffs are good. So, yeah, so shock from Dooku is gonna stop the healing and protection gain from Boss Lead.
I was also texting JSHO as we were going along with new ideas, as you can see here. So sorry about that stuff, guys, but it's a good video. It'll clean up in a second.
You're just stuck on Nest. Oh man. It just goes to work. And I still don't have a solid understanding of what extortion does. I know that you pretty much want to clear it immediately. I was just going to say, so what's happening, what you're seeing here is
two things happen. Either you clear it and you start increasing the crit damage for the Grievous, or you don't and they start flying. So you're really kind of in a no-win situation, no matter what you do with it. Playing against it, I managed to hit that kind of the button that gets rid of extortion a lot, because I found myself in positions where there really wasn't much to do.
Man, this didn't have a chance.
That's Bounty Hunters. It's not the best team in the world, but they tore through them. You can't use Bounty Hunters to beat this team. And so as I was texting JSHO, the last thing I thought of was, so he was trying Night Sisters versus me, and he was winning. And then I said, well, what if I add Hermit Yoda to this mix? Will it stop the Night Sisters? And
Do
Lo
you
and
want to play
behold,
the Night Sister one?
yeah, yes, it did. I just think this stuff is so neat. It's. I know I've said it a million times, but it's literally the reason I play the game.
So Night Sister, sorry, Hermit Yoda in there to mitigate plague.
Yes, but there's another reason. If you're going to use this team in TW, a strong healing element is going to be a good thing, so that you might be able to get more than one stand, even if you win the first battle. If you have a character in there that's kind of keeping them alive over multiple battles, it really could sit and be a larger problem. Hermit Yoda also stealths right away, so he fits well with the kind of what's going on
Mm-hmm.
there.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean, Night Sister Spirit is a major team. If you can hold against that on defense, without it being like, that's really saying something. I think
Is this your Night Sisters?
that's his Night
This is
Sisters. It's
him. Okay, and he has
my
good
team.
Night Sisters. You guys both have a good Night Sister team.
Yeah, and he has a really good bounty hunter team too. So for them to get stonewalled, it was a. I was surprised by it. I had this idea, but you know me, I text you every day with a billion ideas,
Yeah.
and not all of them pan out. But I mean, with all the revives and everything going on, especially under MT lead, beating this team is no small feat on defense.
Now, this is not something that I think a lot of people would think to burn Night Sisters on, because
No,
I
I don't
always
think
hold
so
them for
either.
CLS. I'm either
And a
putting them
lot
on
of,
defense or using them for CLS.
I think most people are putting them on a defense. So yeah, what we think is going to happen in TW, and we're going to be able to give you an update on Monday, is that they're going to try kind of go through the same progression we just went through, and they're going to start losing battles and realize in the end that they probably need to use something more along the lines of CLS or Treya. And if you force them to do that, I mean, it's a huge victory. This is kind of a throwaway team. Nest is great, don't get me wrong, but I mean, the rest of the tunes aren't my main defensive components, and if we could get stops with that, just a huge start to a TW. We're going to put it right up front
Oh my
and see if we
gosh,
can
yeah.
force them to make some mistakes.
I think a lot. I think this could force a lot of people into mistakes.
But just, I mean, look how. First of all, Dooku died here. If he had his Zeta, he might not have. It was Gear 12, but if he had some more of the Gear 12 gear, higher health pools, and or consider this: what if Ness was Gear 13? What if?
Oh, does it win?
Yes. What if Grievous was Gear 13?
Oh my
What if
god!
Grievous had 90k
I
health?
thought Night Sisters were going to kind of like have a really rough win here.
And it still held on in there.
Oh
Could you
man!
imagine if Grievous had 90k health, how hard he'd be hitting on this team?
Oh my
Now,
gosh!
the Nute Zeta, the final word I want to say on this is the Nute Zeta gives you 5% max damage hit on every debuff that a Separatist puts out there. So when you're AoE from Grievous and you're putting all the target lock out there, it takes 5% from each character. Nute throws a lot of debuffs out there. If that is added to this, that battle right there would not have been so close. They would have gotten decimated. And if you throw, maybe think of a tomb like B2 that's going over and over again and putting debuffs out there, but that extra damage, that health based damage tied to debuffs for a team that really is absolutely flying under Nute. I can tell you right now, what a human being is going to do is not get rid of extortion that quickly in the beginning. They're going to have to learn to do that.
They'll try
It
to
wasn't
push
such
it.
a,
Yeah.
They might try to push it, but what they don't realize is that speed is going to start stacking, and all of a sudden the battle is going to get way out of control. And if they're starting to hit harder, if maybe Dooku has a Zeta, if Grievous is Gear 13 and starts to hit twice as hard, if they have the health-based damage from Nute Zeta, this is a major team, and it's going to be up there, below Padme. You tried it, I think, and Padme won. Below
yeah, and
DR.
Padme's a really, really, really good team. That's a near meta team to me.
So if this is right under Padme, think about how the landscape is just changed.
That's taking a knight or a rook with a pawn. This is a really efficient defense team.
That's exactly what I think it is. And this is what it's like, the holy grail of defense, to the point which we weren't even we weren't even sure we wanted to post this just so we could have it for the guild.
Yeah. Okay, I want to watch this last one. Jedi and Wampa Night Sister counter.
This isn't.
Oh,
This
is that something
this is
else?
something else. This is something Pickle gave to me. Shout out to Pickle. He's
Pickle.
been helping and collaborating with us to try to help our guild's efficiency. He's really good at that stuff, and he uses his team versus
I'm just playing
the
one
Night
of these
Sisters.
EP videos again because I think that fifth slot, the Droideka slot there, that you can exchange, like we saw you exchange it with Hermit Yoda and Poggle. I think there's room for obviously a separatist, but like a BT. I think any available separatist tank, preferably a droid. I mean,
I think so too.
it's just a spot, like really Nest, Dooku, and Grievous are going bananas, and you want Nute to, he's gonna die, but if he has enough health, he'll stay alive the second time, and so his lead will persist if you get a hold. So you just want your thickest fifth member possible, I think, for that Droideka slot.
I think Droideka was great, and
Yeah, Droideka's a great choice.
It's not really, because look at the mark. Look what's happened there. Like once you get stuck on Droideka and you can't hit him,
I missed that.
I just want to break my phone and give up at that point. I have nothing left for this game. But yeah, look, once GG goes below 100% health, he just marks. It's just another kick in the balls, basically. Like,
yeah,
there's so many great
That's
defensive
really
mechanisms, and now you can't.
I like that.
This stupid droid. I added one more video to the watch list if you want to. I did try Rex Wampa Chase Hermit Yoda against this, and it won, but I don't believe it will once all the Zetas and all the gears maxed out. But you can see what kind of happens here.
Oh, nobody's gonna try Rex Wampa. People are gonna hold Rex Wampa for a known quantity because it's getting a little old.
Agreed, but it's a good healing lineup, and for me, what's really interesting about this team is how,
man, and then you burn your Hermit Yoda Kira Nest counter thing. So yeah, this eats something high quality alive.
100%. And what struck me about playing against this is me playing against JSHO, is that it just really throws you off your game. Playing this team is different than playing any other team I felt, besides like the super strong metas where I just never had a good, solid feeling of where I should go with this. And every time he cloaked, it was just happening so often. I mean, Baze was able to dispel everybody, and you would think I would get a nice foothold there. I have Daze, but it's not what really happened.
This is an incredibly frustrating team to play against. So you've got a new. Let's go through all the elements that would be really annoying as the person playing this. So you've got the new Nute lead, which, I mean, I spend way too much time in this game, and I don't know what the Nute lead is. You've got the extortion thing, which, again, I don't really know. I just clear it whenever I can. New Dooku, which is bad guy R2 stealth and a lot of counterattack going under protection. Nest is, you got to dance around Nest. Grievous at gear 12, like about a minute and a half into the battle, he kills somebody, and then Droideka or whoever you plug into the fifth, who is getting Mark, which is that taunt that you can't predict or you can't dispel Mark. Oh, this is such an annoying team to play against.
So Wampa ends up like kind of soloing and bringing this out. You're going to see that, but it's not because this is a great counter, and I wouldn't feel comfortable going through doing this because I'm in good shape right now. And now Wampa can do some of these types of things. Wampa's a cool tune, but I was just thinking that another alternate fifth to Nest would be Zal. It's really hard to chew through Zal.
Oh, because he gets the stacking defense if you're stuck on him.
Yeah, and he has crit avoided. So if you don't have Nest, or if you want to use Nest for somebody else, I'm going to put that as an option maybe tomorrow when we put this on defense for TW, because really anybody in that fifth spot who could take abuse is really going to be a good option.
Anything I mean, you're really using this to force somebody to make an error and spend a team, and it's probably going to require a better team than they think.
I think this is going to be an amazing team, and unfortunately, we can't try it. But Grand Arena, because now you have one roster, and you're going to look at this team, and you're not going to want to use Traya on it, and then you're going to have a Max Knight sister somewhere else, and you're going to want to save your Traya for that, and you're not going to be able to do both.
Oh man, especially if you put this up front.
Yeah, I agree.
And everybody's nervous, like, oh, what's behind this? They put garbage, and there's a bunch of stuff behind it. Do I use?
My Scoundrel team holds almost every GA for at least one battle with Nest, and it would take something monumental for me to move Nest out of that team, and I'm going to move Nest out of that team because this is too good not to do it. I'll figure something else out for that team. Why don't we take a look at the Nute League?
Yeah. What does it do? Back room.
Oh, look at you. You haven't even touched them, man.
Separatist allies have plus 15% speed. That's kind of interesting. There's a percentage speed boost and potency for each enemy with extortion.
Oh my god, I never caught that.
15% is more than 15.
All right, that explains a lot about what I was seeing there. Yeah, that's enormous. Oh my god.
So for each enemy with extortion, let's say, like average speed, what do you think? Like 200 is an okay place to start for an average speed of a character?
Yeah, if you want to calculate the low end, I mean,
there's your plus 30 speed as soon as you put one. And that's kind of like the standard speed buff from a modern leadership ability is plus 30 speed, give or take, right?
Right, but most of the time 2 or 3 stacks are out there.
Yeah.
So you're talking about 60 and 90. And it spreads itself almost like plague too.
How fast is Dooku anyway?
My Dooku's 300. So he's at some points going 360. Plus he gets 15, I think 15% turn meter every time he counters. So he must remember when we were talking about the adjusted speed that
of Grandmaster
Yoda. He has to be rivaling 500 at some point.
I think that's why he's going so much. I think I think there were conditions where he was I think I did a calculation and it said 720 virtual speed.
If he's going that fast, I mean, he's the one who's hiding everybody. So I mean, that explains why I felt so uncomfortable.
That stealth is gonna because in all those battles, the stealth was persisting through most of it.
So look what happens after.
While Nute is alive.
Yeah, look what happens when they get rid of it.
Dispels their. And okay, so if they don't dispel it, it spreads extortion, and then the separatists go even faster.
Now look at extortion.
What's that on? Dubious dealings. Grant the extortion ability.
Go to level 8.
Right. If they already had, grant it to the weakest enemy, blah, blah, blah. Then inflict speed down.
The speed down's really nice, too. He seems to be doing that a lot. 20% max health damage. I even forgot about that. That explains a lot.
Extortion ability. Oh, so they have an ability.
They grant it to the weakest enemy.
Right.
If they already have it.
So when they have the extortion ability, it's not really a buff. When they have the ability, it's giving the separatist team plus 15% speed for every one of these characters that has the extortion ability, and
potency. And remember, his Zeta depends on debuffing enemies and dealing even more damage. But every time you remove it, you grant profit.
Yeah. So the extortion ability is you heal and give profit to the enemy team, which is stacking 10% crit chance and crit damage max 5 stacks. So they get faster and they hit harder. This is that's like everybody is Zeta Farm Boy Luke or something like that.
And just remember, it's not an either or situation. You can grant profit, but then get extortion again. So they're gonna continually have extortion anyway. So at some point you're getting 50% crit chance, 50% crit damage, and you're still going to get the speed and the potency buffs from it.
Oh my goodness, yeah.
I feel like this is on the verge, maxed of being able to maybe beat DR without Malik or a Jedi. If you could really sit down and get it right, maybe have the right dispel, beat Jedi Knight Revan. All the mechanics are there to take this and really do something special with it.
I don't know about that. I mean, that would be
but
awesome.
It's the speed, though. Speed is the thing that always makes me say, can something really take it to the other level? Anything that has a good speed mechanic built in has the potential. And in this case, there's potential here.
Okay.
But even if it's below those teams.
You're right. So it has speed. What it also has that makes Darth Revan teams so good is they have their damage ramps up, too. They have all that crit damage. And this is mini Sith Empire.
Oh my God, I never read this too. And it's funny because I've been minus 30% per 30% speed when they have extortion and offense. I didn't even know that.
Yeah.
Oh, that's ridiculous.
It's
oh my
good.
All right, that explains why
it's really good.
So if Dooku gets that Zeta and Nute gets the gear 12, I mean, this is almost like a Traya type ability where they don't hit as hard.
Oh man, I did watch I did watch your EP video during the day when I should have been doing some work. And I did think with all the kind of like crazy things that you have to think about that's going on in that Separatist team, it reminded me a lot of playing Traya lead when it first came out and I was using Bastila, because it was like, oh shoot, like you get your offense nerfed if you attack out of turn, or if you gain buffs out of turn, you get your offense nerfed. Like there was all that stuff going on that you had to think about that was like statistically nerfing your team. And it's kind of the same thing.
You know what's funny? So I don't know how this works together from a stacking perspective. Now that I'm getting the whole picture here for what you're doing. Mm-hmm. He gives Nute gives speed down, which is minus 50% speed. And when they have extortion, they have minus 30% speed. At some point, some of these students have minus 80% speed.
That's minus quite a bit of speed.
That
is not insignificant.
That's not moving.
That is a majority of your speed.
And then if you put Nest in there with Daze to stop any turn meter gains.
Oh my God! And you're just pushing the turn meter down too.
This is legit. I mean, I hope no one's watching this video so we could just use this endlessly for the next 3 months and dominate teams.
Oh my God!
I don't know how many we're going to be able to scrape up, but I know JSHO and I can scrape it up. And
that's so dirty and sneaky, just like the Separatists. Like Dooku went around subverting everybody and tricking systems to join the Separatist movement.